So there have been protests actually all week happening. Ever since this deal was announced at the beginning of last week, we've seen protests across Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon. There are over 450,000 registered Palestinian refugees in Lebanon, many of whom have been here for 70 years, up to fifth generation people living here all their lives. And so they have been protesting inside the camps and outside. And then today we saw protests in the streets of Beirut. We also saw protests at the American embassy. Lots of Palestinians there and Lebanese as well standing outside the embassy. They tore down the barbed wire there and tried to get access to the compound, shouting about what they're calling the deal of shame. Many people incredibly angry about what they see as a really piecemeal suggestion for this Middle East peace plan. We've been waiting for the details of it for a long time. When it was finally announced, many people in the region, many countries now, feeling that the way that it's been laid out very much is on the side of the Israelis. That's how people here see it. It would not allow for the right of return of Palestinian refugees to that area of Israel, which for many Palestinian refugees is the thing they have been fighting for decades. So many hundreds of thousands of them living without their own citizenship in the other countries where they ended up as refugees after 1948.
Okay, and you've been to visit some of the Palestinian refugee camps in the Beirut area, and I'm assuming this issue is extremely close to the hearts of a lot of the people you were talking to there.
It is. So Lebanon is one of the countries, as I said there, that has the most Palestinian refugees, and specifically refugees, ones who have never, as I said, got their citizenship. There are some across the world, of course, who did get citizenship in other countries after leaving that territory in what is Israel today. And many of the people across the country, there are 12 Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon. And so it's incredibly important to the Palestinians, this deal, because, as I was saying, the right of return, the right to go back to that territory is what they're fighting for. And as I was speaking to these people, I've spent a lot of time in these camps over the last few years. And what they say is, we are not Lebanese, we are Palestinian. We are still living here temporarily, but it's not our country, it's not our home. And if this small amount of land is given over to a new Palestinian state within Israel's borders, which is what this deal suggests, we will never be able to go back. And one of the things that this deal suggests is that the surrounding countries where there are still refugees who don't have citizenship should give citizenship to these people. And they're saying that's not what they want. Also, these governments have not agreed to it. The Lebanese government saying there's no way that we can give, almost 10% to our population at 450,000, all of these people, citizenship in this country. It's a very contentious issue in Lebanon, particularly because of the sectarian divides here. The majority of these Palestinian refugees are Sunni Muslims, which would absolutely upset that very careful balance that has caused so many of the sectarian problems in Lebanon over the years. The other issue is it's not just Palestinians here who are very concerned about this. There's a long-running border dispute with Israel to the south in Lebanon. They're still officially at war. Israel was occupying the south of Lebanon until the year 2000. So there's a lot of legacy there, and that border is still disputed. And if you look at that map that the Trump administration released, the only dotted line, the only non-firm border that there is there is that one between Israel and Lebanon. So many Lebanese extremely concerned that this would give Israel more desire, perhaps, to invade the country again. There was, of course, a war in 2006 here when Israel bombed the country. And Hezbollah, the organization here that really started, as they call themselves, a resistance movement against Israel, the leader, Hassan Nasrallah, came out. He called this a deal of shame. And he said the savage American government is once again trying to push upon Lebanon, make the country smaller and allow Israel to invade the borders once again. So lots of fear-mongering there. So as I say, issues for Palestinian refugees, Lebanese, and the Lebanese Palestinians who are of joint heritage here. It's a very contentious issue in the country and lots of concern about this plan.